In this video, I will show you how to prove that triangles are congruent using side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, or hypotenuse leg. Two combinations that do not work are side, side, angle. That will not prove that two triangles are congruent. Neither will angle, angle, angle. Angle, angle, angle. So if we see any of these, boo, triangles can't be proven congruent. So for example, looking at problem number 1, I see that we have two sides and an angle. That means it's either going to be side, side, angle, which of course doesn't work, or it'll be side, angle, side. The way you choose is for side, angle, side, the angle has to be between the two sides. And that's exactly what's happening here. Here's one of the marked sides, here's the other side. The angle that's marked is in between. That makes this side, angle, side. Wait, I'm supposed to put, this is multiple choice, my friends. C. All right, moving on to problem number 2. It's important that you look at one triangle at a time. So, for example, we're going to look at this triangle over here. Also, you need to mark anything that you can mark congruent just based on the way the picture looks. So in this case, the shared side is automatically going to be congruent because it's the same for both the yellow triangle and the white triangle. Now, just look at the yellow triangle for now. What do we have marked? We have two angles and a side. That means it will either be angle, angle, side, or it will be angle, side, angle. The difference is, if it's going to be angle, side, angle, the side has to be between the two angles. Well, that's not what's happening here. Here's one of the marked angles. Here's the other marked angle. Notice that this would be the side that's between those two angles. And that is not the side that we have marked. So the marked side is not between the two angles, so it can't be angle, side, angle, so it must be angle, angle, side. Okay, for this triangle, there's something that we can mark that's not already marked, and that is vertical angles. Whenever you have an X formed like this, the angles that are across from each other are called vertical angles, and they are always congruent. So now, if you look at just one triangle at a time, like this yellow triangle over here, what do we have marked? Well, we have two angles and a side, sort of like last time. So when you have two angles and a side, it's either going to be angle, angle, side, or it'll be angle, side, angle. Again, if it's angle, side, angle, the side is between the two angles. And that is what's happening now. Here's one marked angle, here's the other marked angle. This is the side that is between those two angles. So it is angle, side, angle. For this problem, we have another shared side, so let's definitely go ahead and mark that. Now, let's look at one triangle at a time and see what we've got. So I'm going to color this side yellow. So we have a yellow triangle and the white triangle. We have two sides and an angle. So when you have two sides and an angle, there are actually three possibilities. Of course, it could be side, side, angle, right? Because that's two sides and an angle. Now, but that's not a thing. So if it's that one, we're going to automatically say cannot be proven congruent. Or it could be side, angle, side, because that has two sides in an angle. Or it could be hypotenuse, leg. Now, let's start with hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg is only for right triangles because only a right triangle has a hypotenuse. This does not have a hypotenuse. This is not a right triangle. So it can't be that one. So it's going to be one of these two. If it's going to be side, angle, side, the angle has to be between the two sides. And that is not what's going on here. Here's one side. Here's another side. So this would be the angle between the two sides. And that is not the angle that's marked. So since the angle is not between the two sides, it can't be side, angle, side. That means we're looking at side, side, angle, which is not a thing. So that's why we're going to say cannot be proven congruent. If we want to prove these triangles congruent by angle, side, angle, what would we need to know? What else will we need to know? So angle, side, angle. So far, we have an angle and a side. All right, we have an angle and a side already marked. So what we are missing is the angle. So we need to mark an additional angle. So the question is, are we going to mark angle T or angle R? So remember, for angle, side, angle, the side has to be between the two angles. So that's why I'm going to mark R, because that puts the side right between the two angles. And on the other triangle, that's why I'm going to mark E, because that's what it takes to make the side between the two angles. So angle R has to be congruent to angle E. Okay. If we want to prove these triangles congruent by hypotenuse leg, what else will we need to know? All right, well, what we already have marked is a leg. All right, a leg is just any side that's not the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is over here. So we already have the leg. So what we need is the hypotenuse. So here's a leg and here is the hypotenuse. So that means KL has to be congruent to DF. Okay, KL, okay, DF is the same as FD. So the answer is B. If triangle PQR is congruent to triangle STU, then what must be true? Well, let's color code this. P corresponds with S. You know what? I should do this all the way down. Okay, P corresponds with S. All right, so here's P and here's S. Those are not in the same position, so A is already out. Okay, P corresponds with S. All right, B is a possibility. All right, P corresponds with S. Those are not in the same spot, so C is already out. P corresponds with S. Okay, so far we've narrowed it down to two possibilities. Okay, can't be A, can't be C. All right, so these two options have P and S in the same position. So let's move on to the next letter. Q has to correspond with T. Now here's Q. Oh, but then T is in the wrong place. So the answer has to be D, but let's follow through. So here's Q and here's T in the same position. All right, we could go even further and go ahead and talk about R and U. Okay, R and U. So here's R and here's U in the same spot. So the answer is D, the only one that has the letters in the corresponding letters in the same position in both triangles. Okay, so the answer is D. Okay, if J is the midpoint of segment MN, then what must be true? Like what must be congruent to what? All right, segment MN, you say. Well, here is segment MN right here. So midpoint means it's right in the middle. So if J is the midpoint, that means MJ has to be congruent to JN. All right, there's MJ, okay, and JN. So the answer is B. Okay, segment EG bisects angle HEF. Then what must be true? All right, highlight angle HEF. All right, here's H to the E to the F. There's angle HEF. Bisect means cut in half. So if I cut this angle in half, then that means this piece is going to equal to that piece. Well, this first piece is angle FEG. Angle FEG. And the second piece is angle HEG. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. FEG, HEG. Oh, right off the bat. Boom. There you go. All right, are these triangles congruent? If so, why? Well, if I just look at one triangle at a time, I see that we have two sides and an angle. So that means this is either side angle, which is not a thing, or it'll be side angle side, or it could be hypotenuse leg, which is actually a special case of side angle, but this one works. In fact, speaking of hypotenuse leg, this only works for right triangles. So this is a right triangle, so we better check it out. Hypotenuse leg. Is the hypotenuse marked? Well, no. Here's the hypotenuse across from the 90-degree angle. It is not marked. So it is not hypotenuse leg. So maybe it's side angle side. For that, the angle has to be between the two sides. And oh look, that is what's happening. Here's one side, here's the other side. Notice that the angle is right here between the two sides. So this is side angle side. Now, let's make the congruence statement. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. Well, A corresponds with F because they're both 90 degrees. And then B corresponds with E. You can tell because of the way B is touching the double side and angle E is touching the double side. All right, and that just leaves angle D. Okay, moving on. For this one, don't forget to mark the shared side as being congruent before you get started. When they're attached like this, I find it helpful to color one of them a different color. All right, just makes it easier to see what's going on. So for starters, look at one triangle at a time. Look at the yellow triangle. What do we have marked here? I see that we have two sides and an angle. So either this is side-side angle, which is not a thing, or it is side angle side, or it is hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg is only for right triangles, so it's not that. For side angle side, the angle has to be between the two sides. That is not what's happening here. Here's one side, and here's the other side. This would be the angle between them up here. But the angle that's marked is something different. So it's not side angle side. So that means this must be a side-side angle situation. Unfortunately, side-side angle does not prove that triangles are congruent. All right, it's not a thing. So as a matter of fact, do not put side-side angle up here, because that's not one of the theorems that exists. And don't fill in the congruent statement either. Leave both of these blank. Okay, number 12. There's something we must mark. All right, these vertical angles are always congruent, so you got to mark that. Now, look at one triangle at a time. I see that we have two angles and a side. That means this is either angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. For angle, side, angle, the side must be between the two angles. And that's what I see here. All right, here are the two angles, and yes, the side is between the two angles. So this is angle, side, angle. Now, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. Well, I'm going to color this so I can say the yellow angle A corresponds to the white angle A. All right, so this A is for the white angle A. Now, angle B corresponds with angle E, and angle C corresponds with angle D. All right, don't forget to mark the shared side. In addition to that, we're given some given here. B is the midpoint of AD. If B is the midpoint of AD, here's AD. If B is the midpoint, that means that this side is congruent to this side. So now, let's just look at one triangle at a time and see what we have. So if you look at this yellow triangle, notice that what we have is we have three sides. Well, that can only be side, side, side. Now, the congruence statement. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. All right, so the yellow angle A corresponds to the white angle D. Okay, these are like mirror images of each other. That's what's happening. The yellow angle B corresponds to the white angle B. And the yellow angle C corresponds to the white angle C. Okay, again, let's go ahead and mark the shared side. And let's check out the given. BC bisects angle ACD. All right, angle ACD is right here. ACD. Bisect means cut in half. So if we cut this angle in half, that means this side is equal to this side. All right, now focus on one triangle at a time. Okay, what do we have marked here? We have two sides and an angle. All right, that means this is either going to be side-side angle, or side angle, side, or hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg is only for right triangles, so forget about it. For side angle side, the angle must be between the two sides. And it is, because here's one side, here's the other side, and notice how the angle is right here where they meet. So the angle is between the two sides. So this is side angle side. Looks like the setup is the same as before. So this is going to be DBC again, just like last time.